this is Monica with Looking for Group. Today I'm here with Steven Shattuck, the Esports Varsity Director at University of Central Missouri. How are you doing today, Steven?
Doing great, Monica. Thanks for having me.
Of course, thanks for giving your time for this interview. I want to know a little bit
Sure.
more about the program that you have going on there. And first and foremost, I want to get to know about how it got started. So, could you tell me about the grassroots level of the program? Did administration come up with this plan? Was it the students? Can you share a little more about that?
Sure. Actually, it was me. I came up
Oh,
with the idea. I had read an article about other schools who had started one, namely Mizzou. They're the big school in our state. And so in fall of 2019, I actually approached the administration and said, we need this. We need to make sure that this happens. And they've been nothing but supportive. So we rolled it out in fall of 2019 with 15 players of Overwatch. And now we're up to 40 scholarships per semester and 7 games. So we're growing pretty quickly and hope to grow further.
that is excellent. So that's a lot of Overwatch players to come right off at the gate.
Right.
So how did you go about defining a competitive versus casual side of Overwatch?
Um, well, actually, the first semester, we pretty much took anybody who wanted to be part of it. But then once the word got out, we actually, of course, based on ranking, we watched rankings, we tried people out. Um, we really want to have a team that is competitive, of course, but also who enjoys playing the game, who communicates well, who positions well. So we kind of watch for everything within the game, and we try to make sure that the students are enjoying themselves. That's the big part of it. You want to do something at the college level that you enjoy doing. And so we wanted it to be a little more than casual because, again, we want to be competitive, but we don't want to lose the casual nature of a game either. Gaming's for fun. You know, you want to do that because you enjoy what you're doing. And so I kind of call it a hybrid competitive casual atmosphere on our school. And so we do compete. We compete hard, but we laugh while we're doing it. We have a good time while we're doing it.
That's so great to hear. So, of those seven titles, which ones are involved in competitive leagues? And if they are, what kind of leagues? How often are they competing? What does that kind of schedule look like?
It's crazy. All seven of our games actually compete at least in one tournament every week. Some of them are in two, some are in three. It just depends on the different titles. And so we pretty much have at least one competitive match for one of our games every evening, Monday through Saturday. We take Sundays off, but for the rest of the week, there's always something happening. And one of our titles is competing in something.
Wow, that does sound quite busy, but it sounds like there's lots of
It is.
options.
There are. And what's kind of cool is that the students do a lot of the captaining of the teams themselves. So I kind of take the approach where a student who's actually in the game is better at kind of putting the stuff together. And so we have a captain for each team that gets them involved in the tournaments. They sign them up for the tournaments. They let me know what's going on. Of course, I pay for any registration fees through our budget, but they kind of take lead of it, which is also really good for the students.
Yeah,
And so
absolutely.
I kind of take a standoff approach to running the team. I let the students run the team.
Yeah, after all, they kind of know what they want and what they're going for. So giving them this autonomy and giving them the ability to form leadership skills, I think, is really crucial in this space. And you're really hitting the
And
nail
they,
on the
they
head.
seem to work right. They seem to work much harder when they are in charge of it themselves. When they so we do 12 hours of practice a week, and for every 3 hour session, they do at least an hour of video reviews, VOD reviews,
Okay.
and strategy sessions and stuff like that. And they take charge of that on their own. They're always looking for videos of their play. And it's a great thing to watch. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just organic community giving
I know
feedback.
it's so
It's
much fun.
yeah, that's my favorite part about it for sure. So, switching gears a little bit, I want to know about the facility that you have for your students to play. Can you tell me about the equipment you have, the peripherals? Do you require that students bring their own, or do you give them the option? And also, what kind of partnerships or sponsorships do you have that you like to talk about?
Sure. Right now, we are still in working on building an arena. Right now, we're using three different computer labs. Three of our top labs on campus, they're cybersecurity labs, and so we take control of all three of those in the afternoons and evenings and weekends for the different games. What I've done is we have two games in essence per room, and then we also have a console game that actually plays on what we call the new lines here on campus. They're these big, huge, jumbo flat screen TVs. And so they kind of have their own space to do that. Um, I do not. The computers are all there. The Xboxes and stuff for our NBA 2K, we give them have those, and so we kind of supply the gear. They bring in their own mechanical keyboards and things like that when they want other stuff. You know, when they want to kind of amp it up a little. Because right now, since we're pretty new and we're still looking for the funds to build our own arena, we give them good stuff, but it's not top of the line stuff. And so when those who want their top of the line stuff, they bring it in themselves. Yeah. But everything we have is definitely worth quality stuff when it comes to gaming. It is good. It's good quality stuff. When it comes to sponsorships, right now we've got Dell kind of backing us a little.
Okay.
We they help us. That's our university has a contract with them, and so they help us with some kickbacks for that to help buy gear and stuff like that. We work with a couple of local places. We have Culver's here in Warrensburg, who sponsors us. We have the Dollar General here in town that helps give our players supplies. So they give us like snacks and stuff for tournaments and things like that. And so we've got a few. Again, we're still looking for more, but we've got a few that are helping us out. And we're only in year 2, so it's taken some time to get all that to happen.
Yeah, well, you really hit on something that I actually haven't heard much of, which is the local partnerships. They really go a long way in cultivating a community near and far.
Correct.
Yeah.
We actually do tournaments we have one planned for the Culvers here in town. So people are going to be sitting around and getting butter burgers or whatever and concretes while they're playing Smash Brothers. And so it's
That's
going to hopefully be, yeah. We're
that's
inviting a lot of high schools from the area.
that sounds really amazing and super fun.
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. So again, switching gears, if you were talking to a prospective student and you wanted to tell them something that set your esports program apart from the rest, what would you say?
I think, again, it's kind of what we talked about a little before. I love the competitive side of gaming, but I also love the casual side, the camaraderie that's built. I call it kind of a fraternity of players. It's most people when they game. I've been a gamer all my life, and it's a very individual sport a lot of the time. So you get a lot of, especially at the university level, students sitting in their dorms and gaming all night, kind of by themselves. So even though they're talking to people potentially online, they really don't have the interaction that you would get when you're in an arena with players. And so I love to build that fraternity. Even in the year and a half that we've gone so far, the players are all best friends now. They do stuff outside of the team together. They go out to eat together. They do all this stuff. And so it kind of gives you that family, a family at the university level that I think some people truly love to have because it makes you feel more part of the campus community. And I love to try to foster that in our team. I think it's important that students, of course, compete, but enjoy what they're doing. There's no reason to sign up for a team if you're not going to have fun doing it. And so I think that's something I emphasize, and it's something we're really good at here at UCM. Making sure people are happy when they're playing.
Yeah, I think that's really important, and I can hear the passion and genuineness in your voice there. You know, as a lifelong gamer myself, I want to give you a high five from the other side of the screen. I totally understand the importance of a community and feeling of belonging is so important in this space, and it takes a special person to cultivate that. So, way to go.
Well, I try.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, of course. So, last but not least, I have a question for you that can go specific or general, depending on how you'd like to answer it. But for the prospective students who might be seeking a collegiate esports program now, what kind of advice would you give them when it comes to the application process, either for your school specifically or for their general search process?
I can really only speak to us specifically because, again, I not a lot of experience, only being a year and a half in or so. But one thing that I truly look for on applications, first off, for us, it's GPA because we are an academic team on our campus. Because there's a scholarship involved, we do expect our students to maintain a 3.0 or above. I've been a firm believer since day one that I do not want this team to in any way harm you or hurt you in your process to graduate. I think it's imperative that I help you graduate. I want you to have a great experience, but the ultimate goal is to get a degree from the university. And so I watch grades very carefully. I watch attendance in the classes very carefully. I think it's something that I want to foster is you can be an amazing gamer, but you can also be an amazing student at the same time. I want you to be able to do both on our campus. And something else that I would recommend that students emphasize or at least practice to get ready for, that they don't maybe think about a lot when they're gaming, is communication. I think it's very, very important that you understand that at this level, you're no longer by yourself. you are working with the team, and every member's voice is very, very important. So you have to be used to and be ready to communicate. I'm a very introverted person typically, and so I don't like to talk a lot when I game, and that would be something that I would have to convince myself or force myself to do to make sure that I did contribute to the team. And so communication is of utmost importance. And so practice it while you're gaming at home. Make sure that you are ready to walk into a collegiate atmosphere, ready to speak your mind and to contribute to the team the way that you need to contribute, not just with your skill, but with your voice also. I think that's hard to sometimes pull out of students. Again, very introverted students don't want to talk much. They're amazing gamers, but you really can't make it in a competitive team unless you're willing to talk to your teammates.
Absolutely, and rightfully so. You also can't make it too far in your career if you don't speak up either. If you don't know how to conduct yourself in a conversation for an interview, for instance, like you and I are doing now, which is incredibly difficult for people who have social anxiety. I think this could be a different conversation another time, but these communities that are being created for collegiate esports are ways for these students to practice these skills who might otherwise
Exactly.
slip through the cracks.
Exactly. That is so true.
Yeah.
So patient, get your ranking up as much as it's it don't want to base everything on ranking. If it's not high enough, you're probably not going to get that look from a lot of schools. It's pretty competitive. And so work on your ranking. Pick one game and kind of stick with it. Another thing I would recommend.
Yeah.
I've got the people that I like love to play everything, which is kind of how I am. You never get great at one thing. And so if you want to compete at the collegiate level, you need to be amazing at one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And watch your roles also very carefully is something else I would recommend. Everyone in our Overwatch, for example, the first team wanted to be a tank or support. So no one really wanted to damage. You didn't know you were going to damage. And so it was hard finding some amazing damage. So research the game you're playing and look for the needed roles. Maybe try to emphasize that. Something else I would recommend. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. So, is there anything you'd like to mention about your program that I didn't talk about during the interview or you didn't get an opportunity to mention? The floor is yours now for that.
Oh, okay. Well, I will tell you the 7 games we have in case students are interested.
Oh,
So
yeah.
right now we are playing Overwatch, League of Legends, Rocket League, Rainbow Six Siege, Valorant, NBA 2K, and Super Smash Brothers. And I also believe that it's important that we change as the need or the demand changes. And so I have no issue dropping a title and picking something else up. Like we dropped CS:GO to pick up Valorant because Valorant's pretty new and really kind of going that way a little. And so I mean I like to bring up new titles when needed, or if something's rolling away, like Overwatch, I'm a little worried about. If it starts to disappear, we might need to pick something else up. And so we do watch that very carefully, and we like to trend, with what gamers are playing at that point. And so, in order to do that, I actually get scholarships, or actually pick a new team every semester. So for fall, we have our 40-man team. Applications for the spring team are coming out here in this month, actually, and we'll start reading through applications, start bringing in people for tryouts for the spring team. So we do that semesterly, and so we watch improvement, and we also can get new people involved every semester, which I think is really, really important. Yeah. And we can also change games between semesters when needed.
Yeah, that is really important. I think staying up to date on the trends is probably number one when it comes to being in a position like this because you don't want to provide resources to a game that students aren't playing, right? And attention
Correct,
towards that.
exactly.
So it's just like you gotta keep up with the times, and I guess that's a difficult thing to do as we
It is.
age.
And you so fast.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Stephen, thank you so much for your time today. It was great getting to learn more about your program.
Excellent. Thanks, Monica.
All right, you take care.
You too.